What up? What up? Hey, everybody. You tuned in. It's Monday. It's 8:30. It is Conversations with Teresa with a twist. Got my boy here, my dude, CJ, my eldest son. I am excited for those who are tuning in and watching. We look a little different, right? It's a different scene. It's not a split scene. He's actually right here. I can touch him. Look at
Right
that.
here,
But we're so excited that you guys joined us for Conversations with Teresa. And this is going to be an incredible one because, like I said, I have my son here. So I'm super, super excited. So this is CJ Alleyne. If you haven't met him before, he's been on social media and all his things for I don't even know how many years, way before. He's inspired me to do things like that, like this. So super, super excited. And I'm glad that you guys decided to join. We are going to be talking today about fire. How about that? All right.
Like the vocals you hit. That was good.
I like that. It sounded good
nice
this time, right? Because it's always a
Nah, you're a great singer in my eyes.
Oh, thank you, son. So I have CJ on tonight because he just started a podcast a few weeks ago. And CJ, I would love for you to tell the audience about your podcast and what it's all about.
Yeah, thanks for that warm welcome. I feel like a star.
Yes,
but my name is CJ Alleyne. If you guys don't know, I am her son, and I have the privilege of being her son. But the podcast I started was called Find Your True Fire podcast. And, what we talk about on the Find Your True Fire podcast is really just finding that fire, that flame. What is a fire, you may be asking? Finding your true fire, in my eyes, is someone that is trying to find their true fire, which basically means finding their passions and even their pain and trying to put it in something and make something good out of it. I think in today's day and age, we can be stuck with a whole lot of pain and even passions that we don't know what to do. And Find Your True Fire is helping young people and even people of all ages find their true fire and find what really motivates them, what really drives them, even maybe what pains they hold on to, and how to put that into something and create something out of it. So
okay, all right, I love it. So what inspired you to do this?
Good question. I think for me, as a youth, going to school, I didn't walk down the street and just see like a common podcaster or YouTuber or anything. It was kind of like, dang, I wish there was more people like me, or I wish I had someone teaching me how to do this. And I like, me as the eldest brother in my family, I like to be like that big brother I never had. And, I also like to be that example to the people that may be looking for an example of someone that's doing that. So I think with this podcast, it really gives me an opportunity to interview people, see how they found their fire. We get to kind of share because we relate to some of the struggles with it, some of the highs with it. And it's super exciting. I think this podcast is so fun. It feels like I have my own show, and it just feels really dope to be able to share experiences and things like that.
Absolutely. So you guys are going to see me smile a lot because, like I said, I'm sitting right here. So I am super proud and very just excited about just all the different things that's going on in life. You have a few things going on. Why don't you tell us about what you got going on in life now?
Cool. I have a lot going on right now, but it's cool. I think one thing for me, I realized, I guess I had to break out of this realization that you don't have to be this one thing. And I think for me, I thought you always had to be this one thing and you can't break off and do many other things, right? Like kind of like how a rapper is a rapper, not a cooker. Like, he doesn't know as a cooker, he's just a rapper. And I thought, for me, I wanted to find what that one thing for me. And I think something I've always ended up coming back to is YouTube. I grew up watching different YouTubers and them play the game. I love playing video games. So I watched them play the game and do what they do. So I was like, I want to do that. And I kind of made a YouTube channel when I was, I want to say 11 years old, 11, 12. And maybe I didn't know what I was. Maybe, yeah.
It might have been.
Honestly, I might have been like 10. I was 10. I might have been 10. But I didn't know what I was doing. Long story short, I didn't really know what I was doing. But I knew that I was like, I like what he's doing. I'm going to try to do what he's doing at my way, And I just got inspiration from different people. I love playing video games. I loved the concept of talking like a YouTuber and commentating and talking about what I'm doing. And I would just literally make fun videos. I was a hobby, and I would just post them on my channel. And thankfully, it got me to the point here now today, where I have 30,000 subscribers on my gaming channel, and I have a couple other channels. One for like when I live stream, and another one just talking about my faith in God. So it's truly dope. I think that is one thing that's always been dear to me, doing content creation in YouTube. Now, like I said earlier, breaking out of that cycle of thinking I had to do one thing. Now I'm doing podcasts. Now I'm a guest on a podcast.
Yes,
Life is good. Life is really good. I have a lot of things that I'm really passionate about and things that I'm doing. And yeah, life is great.
All right. So walk us through a little bit about you finding your true fire. So I remember when you were, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old and always on the video game. Always.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, I'm gonna embarrass you a little bit. So one of the things oh my gosh, this whole raging thing that teenagers do. I don't know if your teenagers did it, but they would, lose the game like, oh my goodness. And like it was just like the end of the world, sky falling, all these different things happening. We had to shut it down a couple of times. Like, if you are going to do all that, then you don't need to be playing video games because they're supposed to be fun, right? When we grew up, things were fun, games were fun. And now this was like, my boy got a gray hair. Do you know that? He got a gray hair. I'm convinced that it was because he was raging in the video games. Okay, I digress. At any rate, so tell me. So this started way young.
Yeah.
Way young. And so for the parents out there, and you can be honest, how were we as parents? Because we just thought that it was like this game that you was just playing and wasting up all your time and things like that. How did we make you feel, or how are you made to feel when we were just like, get off that game? Why are you always playing, or whatever? I don't even know what we.
That's a good question. I do know for me, it was constant. I mean, I understood from your perspective,
Did you really?
To a degree. I think I don't when I'm in my mode, when I'm kind of raging like she was talking about, I don't even be noticing how like overwhelming it gets. It kind of just feels like you're in the game, and it's like through an experience with the game, just to explain it, you could have like it's almost like a roller coaster in a way. Like you can just have it's just a calm. It can be calm, but there's sometimes where you have so much hope that you can win this game. You fought so hard to get to the victory, and it's just snatched up away from you. All 20 minutes of your time snatched up. Hard work on the game, and then when it gets taken away, it hurts. It almost feels like you're in the game and it got taken away from you, like a I don't know how else to compare it. Kind of like an NBA game, right? Like you watch an NBA game, someone hits a game winner, it's like so frustrating, But I think with where are they going with that? I think with the gaming, I think you did pretty good. I think as far as disciplining me, I was someone that would not leave my room for nothing, not for food, not for drinks. I was just trying to play the game, have fun. But I do feel like I have built a lot of fun memories off it. I think one thing about video games too, when they're used the right way, and you take it's easy to focus on the negative of your son's not coming out of his room. But what he's really doing is connecting with people in his own world and really enjoying life. It's almost like in a way like an escape. But with that escape, you're able to solve challenges in the game. You're able to build bonds in the game. You're able to communicate with your friends and even talk about some real stuff. Sometimes in the party, talk about some real stuff. So I think there are a lot of, cons. It's easy to center on the cons when it comes to video games, but there's so many pros, so many moments. I guarantee you your child can name 5 of the greatest moments in his life off the game alone,
Wow.
Not saying that's like 5 greatest moments in his life, but I'm saying that he can name 5 moments from the game off the top of his head because they're so special. And those moments you won't always have forever. I think that's another thing too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I'm listening now that you're, the 30,000 in and things like that. But, when he had like 4 followers, I was like, boy, get off that game.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's another thing too. I think as far as, even playing the game too, I think I know for me, I love to play the game and I could spend hours and hours on it. But I felt, especially in COVID, that like I wanted to, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I think with me, I just want to post this game and post my joy. And that turned into something where people was connecting with it. They would join on, and I got this channel to where it was. It did take a lot of hard work, dedication, consistency, but I do think one thing about finding true fire is whatever your passion is, even if it's like this small thing that's like, what are you doing with your life? Like video games, for instance, that can be, you could take that, and there's so many ways. People are getting paid from TikTok. People are getting paid from YouTube. So all these platforms,
Right.
they're getting paid to play video games. And I never was, I always think I was pretty good at the game, but I wasn't like those like people that would tour around and play video games. I wasn't that good. I think I was pretty good. I wasn't that good at touring and playing games around the world, but I think I'm a pretty funny guy. And I think that with that mixed with talent, mixed with hard work, there's no way that you can't turn anything that you're good at into something that can get you well paid, and you can make a almost, I mean, some people make a living off this thing,
That's
so
true.
I do think that there are some pros with it. It definitely takes seeking and figuring out what that fire is, though, for sure.
And I appreciate why you listed out the different things that you can grow in as a person with with video games. So again, like
Yeah.
our perspective could just be it's just video games, but you're talking about focus, you're talking about being able to gain skill, but you're also talking about building friendships and
Yeah.
relationships and things like that. And you're right, we don't always see the pros in it, but this is how I'm sure you weren't thinking when you were 11 that you were starting your spark, right? But
Not at all.
even from then, you were already building, recognizing yourself, recognizing the things that ignited you, recognizing the things that gave you joy, and the skills that you built from it.
Yeah.
So finding that that true fire, and not that it's over yet.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think one thing, when you finding something, you can find your true fire, but I think it's a constant thing of finding it, because I thought I found it in a way when I did YouTube, and that kept me like kind of, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this podcast, I'm doing YouTube because this is what I do. But finding your true fire is constantly just figuring out, like, what do I want to do? How can I grow? What about this opportunity? Can I seek this out? What is this like? Kind of getting, some things. And I think, even public speaking as well. But yeah, I think that's super awesome. I do think that reflecting, I don't think I would be able to be a podcaster, public speaker, or anything I am, or even just a genuine communicator without video games. It's funny, it's interesting you say that. Like, I actually really don't think I would be talking to people. I was I was not a social butterfly. Like, I was actually very scared of talking to a lot of people at once. I'm a very introvert. I don't love necessarily being in front of everybody and speaking, but it brings me joy because I get to talk a little bit about things that I was figuring out and help other people figure out and give them hope and give them inspiration. It serves more of a purpose now. And I do think that because of communicating on the game, as small as that, it got me to where I'm at now as far as speaking.
And communication is so key. It's a skill
Yeah.
that not everyone has. And not everyone has to have the public speaking, but just to be able to communicate your thoughts, your ideas, your feelings, your emotions, that's one skill. But now you've taken it to where you speak to youth, urban youth in and around Boston, which is great. You do that on a pretty consistent basis. In person, he does that with his youth ministry, but then you also obviously do it through your channels.
Yeah.
Through the various channels that you have, you're communicating with them and you're letting them see how you are fanning into flames your own fire.
Yeah.
But now you are in that position to teach other people how to not just play video games.
Definitely.
Like, you're to recognize
Yeah.
really what their fire is. I mean, for someone to say from 10 years old, 8 or 10 years old, into 21, that consistency shows that there is something real there.
Yeah.
We could look at it as a waste of time, but that would be silly. That would be crazy.
Definitely.
To think that.
I did think that yeah, and like you said, I think you know, to look at it from like a grand scheme of things, obviously I see it now. It was hard. I mean, it was hard for me to see it. And I think too, it does take a lot of like discipline and even just curiosity. Stay curious because you never know what your talent, like whatever your talent is, you never know that you probably never know is monetizable. I didn't think that you can get paid from YouTube, or even not that you could, but I could. I didn't believe that I could get paid from playing video games. Like what? This is just a hobby. I'm just having fun for real. But I think it's so cool that something like this, you know, was able to, you know, shout out God, you know, but it could be able to get paid from it. I could be able to show people that, hey, look, I'm playing video games, but there's something beneficial from this because I'm growing in certain areas and it's getting paid. You can't say nothing about that, you know. I think you really can't say nothing about that. But yeah, it's not to my credit, you know. Shout out to my supporters and stuff like that that you know subscribed and supported me, shared my content. But I will say that you know, there you could kill time with video games, but you can also, you know, make opportunities with video games. So many opportunities. You can. There's so many people that will connect to you by the fact you play video games, and it's you just never know. There's so many pros to it.
Right,
I love
right.
the pros to it.
One of the things I think about, like my generation couldn't understand, and still hard to understand, like that monetization. Did I say that right?
Monetization.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you
Okay.
go. But just that fact, and you talked about like again the skills that you're able to bring. So not only the communication, but people are hiring content creators, and not for like the little bit of money, right? Organizations are trying to, you know, get on TikTok and you know, social media, and they need someone to be able to manage that, to understand what is it that the content that people are going to be interested in.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, like I'm terrible. When I send a text, I send you an essay, right? Because I tell you everything that you could possibly be thinking of. And, you know, then like he'll come around and like give me a thumbs up, right? It's just like, wait, I gave all that. You didn't need all that. Nope, you didn't. You just needed like a little bit. But, you know, things that you can teach me how to communicate effectively, right? But what I mean, there's so many other now fields that you can go into, the marketing field.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there was a time where we didn't even think that dance was very relevant. Right. But now almost every other ad is have some, you know, some dancers, some hip hop dancers or things like that. And there was a time where that was just like, oh, you know, that's a waste of time. You're not going to do anything with dance or things. Yeah. So what you have, and I believe what your generation has are so many opportunities.
Definitely.
You know, as opposed to just doctor, lawyer, nurse, things like that. You guys have the world right at your fingertips, and you're creating it.
Right. That's another thing too. I think when it comes to creating content, you're in a sense creating something from nothing. Like literally you start off with 0 subscribers, 0 people that's actually watching you, and you're playing video games, posting videos. Even when you get no results, you do it again. And some people would think that's insane. Like, why are you doing this for so many, like you posted 100 videos so you haven't got your breakthrough amount of views. And it's like, you're playing video games for no reason in a sense. But I think a lot of stuff now is creating stuff out of nothing. It's creating like, yeah, YouTube wouldn't be what it is unless these creators created something out of it, you know. It really wouldn't be. TikTok wouldn't be what it was if all these creators weren't jumping on, making funny stuff and posting. So we're creating a world out of really nothing, and it's really cool to see, you know, the power in that, because you know, there's so many labels and there's so many paths already out there, like college and things like that. I didn't go to college personally, but I created my own path with just a lot of belief in myself, a lot of doubtful moments too, but a lot of, you know, belief in myself and seeing, just going for it, just following my passion. Honestly, just following your passion, you know, it really can get you far. It's like a vehicle.
Absolutely. I have 2 questions for you.
Yes.
At least right now.
Cool.
So what message do you want to send to young people about finding their true fire? And then what message would you send to the parents of these young people
Ah,
as for us letting you find your true fire?
okay. It's a good question. I think to answer your first one, I think as far as finding your true fire, I think there are a lot of things that go into it. I do think if I can give you guys some advice, for those who maybe know what they're passionate about, I would say keep exploring it. Keep there's like it's so many resources out there. Like you can TikTok, you can learn how to cook a whole full course meal from TikTok
Oh
now.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just kind of explore that field. Even if you feel like there's no way I can make a way out of this, like you can create your own path. A lot of stuff, like I said, is created from nothing and really just your imagination. You can dream. You can really dream and make dreams come true. So I would say just explore your passion, explore like your hobbies, see like think about like the things that bring you that you do that bring you joy, or things that you've done in the past that bring you joy. You can pick up
Mm.
something that maybe like a guitar you did at the age of 12, you pick it back up, it's like, wow, I feel the same joy I did when I was younger. Pick it up, try it out. I would say like seek out new experiences, or even the experiences you are now. Think about how can I make this nothing in a way into something? How can I make this into something greater than it already is?
Mm.
And I think too, for parents, it's parents always want to protect their kids and want them to do best, and probably want them to do better than they did. And I do think like, it's funny. When I was graduating high school, I was telling my mom, like, I don't want to go to college. I want to be a YouTuber. And to mom, it's like, you want to be a what now? Like,
Right?
it's kind of like, what are you talking about? And I do think they can be protective out of love. It's not out of like, I don't believe in you. And sometimes, to be real, they can I've heard of parents casting their fears on their kids. It's not that they hate you, it's just they really want best for you. And when they cast their fears on you, it's easy to do that, but I would recommend for parents to kind of hold off on that, because I think when you cast your fears and anxieties on them, it makes them feel it and it makes them doubt on what they're able to do. I would give them the space to grow into whoever they want to be. And I think obviously disciplining them too, because it wasn't like I'm gonna do my thing and whatever. I kind of had to show my mom that I'm gonna work hard at this. I'm gonna be dedicated,
Yeah.
and I'm going to um, believe in it. At the end of the day, I'm going to believe in it, have faith, and just keep going with it. And because sometimes, like, I mean, if I said I'm just gonna sit on the couch instead of go to college, that's different. That's definitely different. Or if I was gonna play video games 24/7 and not do anything with it, that's different. I do think trying to make a way out of your content is important. And I think for parents, you definitely want to give them the space to grow into finding their voice, finding themselves, finding their passions. And I think sometimes with casting fears, you kind of make them take a route that you wish you would have did. You kind of say, no, you're going to college, you're doing this, you're doing that. You have to do this because I said so.
Mm.
But I do think that giving them a kind of a grace space, because um, you guys necessarily probably didn't have it all figured out at the age of 19, and
We sure did.
neither do young kids. And I do think that that fear is great. You want your kids to be great, but you also want your kids to feel safe and feel that they can do whatever they want to do, not fit in this box that my parents want me to be. That's what I would say. And I'm not saying you did that either, Roman. I would just
Well, I tried. I mean,
yeah,
the reality was that when you were, saying, okay, I'm not going to go to college. I'm going to keep pursuing this. I was like, what kind
yeah,
of,
yeah.
and I tried not to cast my fears on you or try to protect you and all of these different things. But I remember saying something to you, and I says, I don't understand this whole YouTube thing. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know what's going to happen, but I believe in you.
Yeah.
And that was one of the times that I could just kind of calm down a bit inside.
Yeah, I remember that, actually. I remember that.
Yeah, and so that was a big deal for me to be able to say, okay, I trust him enough to let him explore. And that wasn't a grace that was given to me necessarily. So it was hard. That was a hard
True.
transition. But I'm so happy that you did, and so proud of you for what you're doing and how you're growing. And I love the fact that it didn't just stop. There was a time where you were just like, it's 2K all day for the rest of my
Yeah.
life. That's all I'm gonna do. And I'm thinking, what is it gonna be, like 2K47? Like what? Like at some point, people are gonna be done with 2K,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you are evolving. That yes, you have your dedicated subscribers and you keep growing, but now you're exploring other things as well. Not just now, I mean, you've been exploring some other ways as well. And so that you mentioned that before, just not staying in like this one place, allowing yourself to look at something else, to let me look at this. Maybe I do like cooking, maybe I do like sports, maybe I do like this, but not to shut things down because you think you found your true fire.
Yes.
Fire is not like this one little speck and that's it, right? Fire is
You keep adding logs and you keep, expanding it. That's kind of like, yeah. And I think one thing I'm realizing too is, when you like finding your true fire, is it's a constant, it's like a lifestyle, honestly. You don't just, you don't like take a shower and it's like, oh, took my shower for life. Like I'm clean. Like,
please
you
don't do
get,
that.
you get clean, of course, when you take a shower, but you got to constantly keep renewing yourself, keep showering, keep getting into that. So I think
Mhm.
finding your true fire is a constant way of life. And, kind of like when you add logs to a fire to help it grow, you can add skills and, add experiences to your
Right.
own fire to make it grow. I understand that now, it was 2K all day, best believe, a couple years ago, but I do think, in moments, obviously, you get to a point where you almost hit a wall and it's like, what now? I think for me, I can hit the wall. I can hit a wall sometimes and I just get stuck. I don't know what to do. But I do think you always want to keep moving. You always want to keep, seeking out new experiences and finding your true fire, because
Mhm.
that will always help you to always have motion, also grow as a person. You can't grow if you're not moving and you're not, watering yourself figuratively, but, treat it like, allowing yourself to grow and just staying stuck. Like you can sometimes, I can stay stuck, but when you allow yourself to grow, you're able to learn new skills. Maybe you figure out, wow, I love cooking, I love working out, I love doing this. Like you get to never limit yourself. I think that's why I love the phrase "no limit," because you get to never limit yourself. You really get to grow and keep becoming, keep growing into a person you want to be. So
No limit, CJ. I love
yes.
it. I love it. All right. Well, where can people find you and your inspiration and your channel and everything you?
Yes. So if you guys are looking for everything me, you guys can go to www.cjalleyne.com. You'll be able to find, just my podcast. You'll find my website, about me, and everything like that, who I am as a person. I do have a couple outlets too. You can look up No Limit CJ 2K if you want to find my video game channel. If you guys want to see me play games, live stream, interact, play games with supporters and people watching.
Mhm.
You guys can follow No Limit CJ if you want to learn more about like faith and God and things like that. Um, and you guys can also, tap into the Find Your True Fire podcast, because we talk about
Yes.
all this stuff, right? We talk about all this stuff, a lot of the experiences, all the, tough topics, the good talks, and really just how to find your true fire and your true passions in life. So, yes, that's where you can find me. I know I'm calling all over the place, but I would check out www.cjalleyne.com.
Excellent. And I believe not, I believe, I know your podcast comes on Wednesday
Wednesdays
mornings,
at 7 a.m.
7
Yes,
a.m. So come check it out. It would be great. I'm sure that I'll have you on again
100%.
because
100%.
this was fun.
This is fun.
It's fun,
Mother
easy.
and son. It's good.
This is good stuff. So listen, if you guys want to find your true fire, you want to check out CJ Alleyne at cjaleyne.com and just get a lot of inspiration, from all different ways. And what's so really cool about that is that it's not just for us, but it is uh for young. Oh, I say us meaning like people my age or things like that. But I think about just for the youth, just all around. There's so many questions that youth have, and they don't always have a resource as to where to go or have someone who looks like them or sounds like them to be able to hear, what it is that they need to hear. So by all means, let your teenager, young adult, I don't know, I can't remember who's millennial and who's Gen X and all that stuff, but but just take a listen to the podcast. I believe that. I mean, I've definitely been inspired by it, and I think that you will too. I'm sure that you will. But tell everyone about cjalleyne.com, about his podcast, Finding Your True Fire, and who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to find their true fire? So on that note, I am so encouraged that you guys have tuned into Conversations with Teresa. We talk about a whole bunch of different things.
Everything.
And now we get a chance to talk about finding your true fire. That's just one of many times. So come right back here next Monday at 8:30. Tune in. You know where to find it. Conversations with Teresa will be here next week. Have an amazing day, because you're the best. Peace out.
Peace.